A development manager is building a new application. He asks you to review his requirements and identify what cloud technologies he can use to meet them. The application must 1. Be based on open-source technology for cloud portability. 2. Dynamically scale compute capacity based on demand. 3. Support continuous software delivery. 4. Run multiple segregated copies of the same application stack. 5. Deploy application bundles using dynamic templates. 6. Route network traffic to specific services based on URL. Which combination of technologies will meet all of his requirements? A. Google Kubernetes Engine, Jenkins, and Helm. B. Google Kubernetes Engine and Cloud Load Balancing. C. Google Kubernetes Engine and Cloud Deployment Manager. D. Google Kubernetes Engine, Jenkins, and Cloud Load Balancing. Correct answer, A. Google Kubernetes Engine, Jenkins, and Helm. You have created several preemptible Linux virtual machine instances using Google Compute Engine. You want to properly shut down your application before the virtual machines are preempted. What should you do? A. Create a shutdown script named k99.shutdown in the /etc/rc.6.d/directory. B. Create a shutdown script registered as a Zinit service in Linux and configure a Stackdriver endpoint check to call the service. C. Create a shutdown script and use it as the value for a new metadata entry with the key shutdown script in the Cloud Platform console when you create the new virtual machine instance. D. Create a shutdown script, registered as a Zinit service in Linux, and use the Cloud Compute Instance's add metadata command to specify the service URL as the value for a new metadata entry with the key shutdown script URL. Correct answer, C. C. Create a shutdown script and use it as the value for a new metadata entry with the key shutdown script in the Cloud Platform console when you create the new virtual machine instance. Your organization has a 3-tier web application deployed in the same network on Google Cloud Platform. Each tier, web, API, and database, scales independently of the others. Network traffic should flow through the web to the API tier and then on to the database tier. Traffic should not flow between the web and the database tier. How should you configure the network? A. Add each tier to a different subnetwork. B. Set up software-based firewalls on individual VMs. C. Add tags to each tier and set up routes to allow the desired traffic flow. D. Add tags to each tier and set up firewall rules to allow the desired traffic flow. Correct answer, D. D. Add tags to each tier and set up firewall rules to allow the desired traffic flow. Your development team has installed a new Linux kernel module on the batch servers in Google Compute Engine, GCE, virtual machines, VMs, to speed up the nightly batch process. 2 days after the installation, 50% of the batch servers failed the nightly batch run. You want to collect details on the failure to pass back to the development team. Which 3 actions should you take? Choose 3. A. Use Stackdriver logging to search for the module log entries. B. Read the debug GCE activity log using the API or Cloud Console. C. Use Cloud or Cloud Console to connect to the serial console and observe the logs. D. Identify whether a live migration event of the failed server occurred, using in the activity log. E. Adjust the Google Stackdriver timeline to match the failure time and observe the batch server metrics. F. Export a debug VM into an image, and run the image on a local server where kernel log messages will be displayed on the native screen. Correct answer, ACE. Use Stackdriver logging to search for the module log entries. C. Use Cloud or Cloud Console to connect to the serial console and observe the logs. E. Adjust the Google Stackdriver timeline to match the failure time and observe the batch server metrics. Your company wants to try out the cloud with low risk. They want to archive approximately 100 terabytes of their log data to the cloud and test the analytics features available to them there, while also retaining that data as a long-term disaster recovery backup. Which 2 steps should you take? Choose 2. A. Load logs into Google BigQuery. B. Load logs into Google Cloud SQL. C. Import logs into Google Stackdriver. D. Insert logs into Google Cloud Bigtable. E. Upload log files into Google Cloud Storage. Correct answer, A. E. A. Load logs into Google BigQuery. E. Upload log files into Google Cloud Storage. You created a pipeline that can deploy your source code changes to your infrastructure in instance groups for self-healing. One of the changes negatively affects your key performance indicator. You are not sure how to fix it, and investigation could take up to a week. What should you do? A. Log into a server and iterate on the Fox locally. B. Revert the source code change and rerun the deployment pipeline. C. Log into the servers with the bad code change and swap in the previous code. D. Change the instance group template to the previous one and delete all instances. Correct answer, B. B. Revert the source code change and rerun the deployment pipeline. Your organization wants to control IAM policies for different departments independently, but centrally. Which approach should you take? A. Multiple organizations with multiple folders. B. Multiple organizations, one for each department. C. A single organization with folders for each department. D. A single organization with multiple projects, each with a central owner. Single organization with folders for each department. You deploy your custom Java application to Google App Engine. It fails to deploy and gives you the following. Stack trace. What should you do? A. Upload missing JR files and redeploy your application. B. Digitally sign all of your JR files and redeploy your application. C. Recompile the cloaked servlet class using an MD5 hash instead of SJ1. Correct answer, B. B. Digitally sign all of your JR files and redeploy your application. Correct answer, B. B. Digitally sign all of your JR files and redeploy your application. You are designing a mobile chat application. You want to ensure people cannot spoof chat messages by providing a message were sent by a specific user. What should you do? A. Tag messages client-side with the originating user identifier and the destination user. B. Encrypt the message client-side using block-based encryption with a shared key. C. Use public key infrastructure, PKI, to encrypt the message client-side using the originating user's private key. D. Use a trusted certificate authority to enable SSL connectivity between the client application and the server. Correct answer, C. C. Use public key infrastructure, PKI, to encrypt the message client-side using the originating user's private key. As part of implementing their disaster recovery plan, Your company is trying to replicate their production MySQL database from their private data center to their GCP project using a Google Cloud VPN connection. They are experiencing latency issues and a small amount of packet loss that is disrupting the replication. What should they do? A. Configure their replication to use UDP. B. Configure a Google Cloud dedicated interconnect. C. Restore their database daily using Google Cloud SQL. D. Add additional VPN connections and load balance them. E. Send the replicated transaction to Google Cloud Pub/Sub. Correct answer, B. B. Configure a Google Cloud dedicated interconnect.